Hey everyone, get ready to feast your ears on some Thanksgiving fun. Today, we're diving into 101 mind-blowing facts about one of America's favorite holidays. By the end of this video, you'll be a Thanksgiving expert, and you might just surprise your family with some holiday trivia at the dinner table. So grab some pumpkin pie and let's get started. Fact 1. Thanksgiving didn't actually start in the US. That's right. The first Thanksgiving-like celebrations were held in England, not Plymouth. British harvest festivals celebrated each year gave thanks for the season's bounty and inspired what we know today as Thanksgiving. Fact 2. Here's a twist. Thanksgiving wasn't even an official holiday until Abraham Lincoln declared it one in 1863. He set it as a national day of thanksgiving and praise, hoping to bring unity during the Civil War. Fact 3. Oh, and guess what? Thanksgiving wasn't always in November. President George Washington's proclamation of a Day of Thanks took place in October. So, could you imagine eating your turkey with a Halloween pumpkin on the table? Who knew Thanksgiving had such a complex calendar? Imagine if it had stuck with October. Would we even have November to look forward to? Fact 4. For the longest time, Thanksgiving had no fixed date. It was up to the president to decide each year, which must have kept people on their toes. Then, in 1941, Congress finally set it for the fourth Thursday in November. Fact 5. Now, we're getting into food territory. The turkey wasn't the first choice on Thanksgiving menus. Colonists and Native Americans likely feasted on lobster, venison, and fish. Can you imagine a lobster centerpiece instead of turkey? Fact 6. The turkey might have found fame at Thanksgiving, partly because of author Sarah Josepha Hale, the same woman who wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb. She campaigned tirelessly for Thanksgiving to become a holiday and published recipes to make turkey the main dish. Fact 7. Fun fact. There's an official turkey pardoning ceremony at the White House every year. The tradition began with John F. Kennedy but wasn't formalized until George H.W. Bush in 1989. Since then, turkeys have been saved by presidential decree. Which would you rather be? The president's turkey or one at your family table? Drop your pick in the comments below. Fact 8. One pardoned turkey even went on a Disney trip. In 2005, a lucky turkey named Marshmallow went to Disneyland to be the Grand Marshal in the Thanksgiving parade. Fact 9. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade has become one of the most iconic parts of the holiday, but it actually started as a Christmas parade in 1924. Macy's employees were mostly immigrants who wanted to show off American holiday traditions with big balloons and bands. Fact 10. Speaking of big balloons, the very first Macy's parade didn't have them. Instead, they used live animals borrowed from the Central Park Zoo, including elephants and camels. Fact 11. Today, the giant balloons are a huge part of the parade, with famous characters flying high. Each balloon takes about 90 handlers, yes, 90, to keep them from floating away. Fact 12. Let's talk leftovers. Americans eat over 245 million pounds of turkey on Thanksgiving. And that's just one day. But fun fact, around 80% of Americans say they actually prefer Thanksgiving leftovers to the main meal. Fact 13. Ever wonder why we feel so sleepy after Thanksgiving dinner? Most people blame it on the tryptophan in turkey, but it's actually the mix of carbs and sugar that does us in, not to mention that extra slice of pie. Fact 14. About pie. Pumpkin is the classic, right? But back in the day, apple pie was actually the star. Pumpkins became popular during the 1800s as they were cheap and plentiful, helping solidify the tradition of pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving. Honestly though, who's passing up pie? Any flavor? I'll take a slice of each. Fact 15. Black Friday owes its roots to Thanksgiving. The day after Thanksgiving became the start of holiday shopping in the 1950s, when stores realized they could draw crowds by offering deep discounts. Today, it's one of the busiest shopping days of the year. Fact 16. Ever heard of Franksgiving? In 1939, President Franklin D. Roosevelt tried to move Thanksgiving up a week to extend the holiday shopping season. But people were so outraged that they started calling it Franksgiving. Fact 17. While we're on the topic of food, let's talk cranberry sauce. More than 5 million gallons of canned cranberry sauce are sold every Thanksgiving. And no, it's not a sauce in the traditional sense. It's more like a solid jelly that people either love or really don't. Fact 18. Speaking of cranberries, Native Americans used them long before Thanksgiving as dye, medicine, and even a way to preserve meat. Fact 19. Today, the Cranberry Marketing Committee, yes, it's real, ensures that Americans get their cranberry fix every Thanksgiving. In fact, they say that 20% of annual cranberry consumption happens during the Thanksgiving season alone. Quick survey. Canned cranberry sauce or homemade? Let me know which team you're on. Fact 20. Did you know Americans aren't the only ones who celebrate Thanksgiving? Countries like Canada, Liberia, and even Germany have their own versions of a Thanksgiving celebration. Canada's Thanksgiving, for instance, is celebrated in October. Fact 21. The classic wishbone tradition comes from ancient Italy. The Romans believed wishbones could predict the future and bring good luck, and they passed the tradition on to Europe. Eventually, it found its way to Thanksgiving dinner. Fact 22. Now here's a funny one. Since the early 2000s, turkey bowling has become a quirky Thanksgiving tradition in some places. People roll frozen turkeys down lanes to knock over pins or cans for a good laugh. Fact 23. And if you're thinking you'll burn a few calories after Thanksgiving, think again. A traditional Thanksgiving meal clocks in at about 3,000 calories, over the daily recommendation for many people. Fact 24. The phrase Black Friday actually started in Philadelphia. Police coined it in the 1960s due to the chaos and traffic that followed Thanksgiving, when crowds flocked to shop. Fact 25. Ever heard of Thanksgiving complaints? The first Thanksgiving complaints were actually about overeating and fatigue, even back in colonial times. Fact 26. Thanksgiving Day has its own official bird, the wild turkey. But did you know Benjamin Franklin originally wanted it to be the U.S. national bird? He thought the bald eagle had bad moral character. Fact 27. In Turkey, they don't eat turkey on Thanksgiving. Instead, they celebrate with a holiday called Harvest Day, featuring foods from their own unique cuisine, like lamb kebabs. Fact 28. On Thanksgiving, it's common for people to talk turkey. The phrase means speaking honestly and bluntly, inspired by the straightforward simplicity of the turkey's image. Fact 29. A turducken is a Thanksgiving phenomenon. It's a chicken stuffed inside a duck, which is then stuffed inside a turkey. This ultra-stuffed dish started gaining popularity in the 1980s in Louisiana. Fact 30. In 2011, NASA astronaut Dan Burbank celebrated Thanksgiving in space. He enjoyed a meal of irradiated turkey, freeze-dried cornbread, and thermostabilized yams. Thanksgiving on a whole other level. Fact 31. The busiest travel day of the year in the U.S. is the day before Thanksgiving, as millions hit the road or the airport to celebrate with family. Fact 32. Friendsgiving has become a popular alternative, especially among young adults. It's a casual gathering with friends, often including fun twists on traditional dishes. Fact 33. Here's a funny one. Turkey trot races are held across the U.S. on Thanksgiving morning. Participants run a 5K or longer, usually dressed in turkey costumes to burn off calories before the big meal. Fact 34. The green bean casserole, a Thanksgiving staple, was invented by Campbell's Soup Company in 1955. Today, Americans use about 40 million cans of green beans each year to make it. Fact 35. The famous Thanksgiving football game tradition began in 1876, when Yale and Princeton held a championship game on Thanksgiving Day. This led to a custom that would eventually become part of the NFL schedule. Can you imagine Thanksgiving without football? For some, it's as essential as the turkey. Fact 36. The official White House turkey pardoning ceremony has been a Thanksgiving tradition since the 1980s, with presidents saving turkeys from being served as the main course. Fact 37. Cranberry sauce was first canned in 1912 and has been a holiday favorite ever since. The jelly version became popular during World War II when fresh cranberries were hard to find. Fact 38. Macy's isn't the only Thanksgiving parade. Other big ones happen in cities like Detroit, Chicago, and Houston, featuring their own floats and bands. Fact 39. A turkey's wishbone, or furcula, is a bone unique to birds and dinosaurs. It forms during growth when two collarbones fuse, giving a whole new layer to the wish-making tradition. Fact 40. Have you ever wondered why turkey is so popular? The bird was domesticated over 2,000 years ago by Native Americans in present-day Mexico, making it easily available for early settlers. Fact 41. Here's an odd fact. Wild turkeys can fly at speeds up to 55 miles per hour in short bursts. Domestic turkeys, however, are too heavy to get airborne. Fact 42. Turkeys have a social structure and communicate with over 20 different sounds. A male's gobble can be heard from a mile away. Fact 43. Many families now opt for Thanksgiving buffets instead of sit-down dinners. In fact, the trend has grown so much that many hotels and restaurants offer special Thanksgiving Day buffets. Fact 44. The idea of turkey stuffing goes back to the Roman Empire, where stuffed dishes were a common delicacy. Fact 45. Thanksgiving Eve has become one of the most popular nights for bars, especially among friends returning to their hometowns to reconnect. Are you more of a home for Thanksgiving or a friendsgiving person? Let us know in the comments. Fact 46. Turkey prices spike during Thanksgiving season. But did you know that grocery stores often sell them at a loss just to draw shoppers in? Fact 47. Not a turkey fan. In the US, around 46 million turkeys are eaten each Thanksgiving. But interestingly, ham is also a popular choice, especially in the South. Fact 48. Thanksgiving is also one of the busiest days for pet adoptions. Many people decide to welcome a new pet as they reflect on what they're grateful for. Fact 49. The idea of pilgrims and Native Americans sharing a feast became a popular story in the 1800s, largely shaped by writers like Sarah Josepha Hale. Fact 50. Thanksgiving is celebrated as a harvest festival in many cultures. In Japan, they celebrate Labor Thanksgiving Day, Kinro Kancha no Hai, to honor workers' contributions. Fact 51. Pumpkin pie spice isn't just for pie anymore. It's become so popular that products ranging from cereal to candles embrace the flavor every fall. Fact 52. The Plymouth Plantation in Massachusetts is a popular historical site where reenactors showcase the first Thanksgiving, dressed in 17th century attire and sharing period-accurate meals. Fact 53. In 2015, President Barack Obama made history by being the first president to pardon two turkeys, Honest and Abe. Fact 54. Thanksgiving Day television specials are a huge deal, with networks airing themed episodes of popular shows each year. Fact 55. Contrary to popular belief, sweet potatoes and yams aren't the same thing. Sweet potatoes are native to North America, while yams are native to Africa and Asia. Fact 56. Did you know you can tour a turkey farm? During Thanksgiving season, many farms open up to show visitors what it's like to raise turkeys. Fact 57. Americans eat an estimated 80 million pounds of cranberries during Thanksgiving week. Fact 58. The first Thanksgiving lasted 3 days. Imagine stretching that food coma out for a long weekend. Fact 59. In some states, Thanksgiving dinner includes regional favorites. In Minnesota, for example, wild rice is a popular addition to the meal, often served as a savory casserole. Fact 60. In New Orleans, Thanksgiving includes a unique dish called oyster stuffing, made with oysters and French bread, a Cajun twist on traditional stuffing. Fact 61. The largest Thanksgiving turkey weighed in at 86 pounds. That's heavier than a lot of people. Fact 62. Alaska is the only U.S. state that doesn't grow cranberries. The conditions are too cold, so they import them instead. Fact 63. Before Thanksgiving meals were pre-planned, guests brought whatever dish they wanted, creating a diverse spread. Fact 64. A turkey's heart beats at 120 beats per minute when relaxed. That's more than twice as fast as a human's resting heart rate. Fact 65. Around 88% of Americans eat turkey on Thanksgiving. It's so popular that whole frozen turkeys are stocked year-round. Fact 66. The Native American Wampanoag tribe taught the Pilgrims how to grow corn, which became a major staple for early settlers. Fact 67. In the late 1800s, ragamuffins, children dressed in rags, would go door to door on Thanksgiving, asking for food and coins, similar to Halloween trick-or-treating. Fact 68. The night before Thanksgiving is a top night for pizza delivery, as many people don't want to cook before the big feast. Fact 69. Wild turkeys have incredible eyesight, about 3 times better than humans. They can even see in color, which helps them spot predators from a distance. Fact 70. The cranberry has its own bounce test. Ripe cranberries bounce due to tiny air pockets, and factories use this method to sort the good berries from the bad. Fact 71. Football and Thanksgiving go way back, but did you know the Detroit Lions played their first Thanksgiving game in 1934? The tradition was a hit, and they've played almost every year since. Fact 72. Ever wondered why so many people get competitive with board games on Thanksgiving? The day off provides a perfect excuse for some friendly family competition. And, let's face it, a few bragging rights. Fact 73. Some Native American tribes had their own harvest celebrations long before Europeans arrived. They'd give thanks for crops like corn, squash, and beans. The Three Sisters of indigenous agriculture. Fact 74. The Pilgrims didn't have forks. During the first Thanksgiving, they used knives, spoons, and their hands, as forks didn't become popular until the 18th century. Fact 75. More than 40 million dinner rolls are consumed on Thanksgiving. Hawaiian rolls, in particular, are an iconic choice for their sweet flavor and soft texture. Fact 76. Thanksgiving wasn't a family holiday for everyone. Until the late 19th century, it was common for men to spend Thanksgiving Day hunting while women prepared food. Fact 77. The Friday after Thanksgiving has a lesser-known nickname, Brown Friday. Plumbers see a surge in calls for clogged drains and toilets from all the extra cooking and guests. Fact 78. Turkey bacon became a popular alternative in the 1980s for those wanting a lighter protein option. Now, turkey substitutes are a staple in many households. Fact 79. Some professional chefs recommend cooking Thanksgiving turkeys upside down, breast side down, for a juicier result, allowing the juices to flow down and keep the meat tender. Fact 80. Some people skip the traditional Thanksgiving meal altogether, opting for pizza or takeout as a quirky, low-stress twist on the holiday. Fact 81. Did you know that the average Thanksgiving turkey has about 70% white meat and 30% dark meat? This is because turkeys use their legs more than their wings, which creates more dark meat in the legs. Fact 82. Thanksgiving is celebrated on different dates across Canada depending on the province. The national day falls on the second Monday in October, but some regions host local harvest festivals around that time. Fact 83. President Calvin Coolidge once received a live raccoon as a Thanksgiving gift. Instead of serving it for dinner, he adopted it as a family pet and named it Rebecca. Fact 84. In the US, some towns have quirky turkey-themed names. You can visit Turkey, Texas, Turkey Creek, Louisiana, or even Turkey City, Pennsylvania. Fact 85. Believe it or not, the average American spends about 15 hours preparing Thanksgiving dinner, from shopping to chopping to cooking. Fact 86. Here's a fun fact. Pumpkins are actually a type of squash. Early settlers baked them by cutting off the top, removing the seeds, and filling the inside with milk, honey, and spices to make a custard. Fact 87. The oldest Thanksgiving Day parade is actually in Philadelphia. Gimbel's department store held the first parade in 1920, beating Macy's by 4 years. Fact 88. Stuffing can have a variety of names depending on where you are. In the South, it's often called dressing, and it's made with cornbread instead of bread cubes. Fact 89. Did you know that wild turkeys can swim? When threatened, they'll dive into water using their wings to paddle to safety. Fact 90. Thanksgiving is a peak day for pet adoption. Some animal shelters offer adopt-a-turkey programs to save real birds from becoming dinner, while others encourage families to adopt pets. Fact 91. The first Macy's Thanksgiving Day. Parade in 1924 featured live animals like elephants and camels, borrowed from the Central Park Zoo, before transitioning to the iconic giant balloons. Fact 92. Gravy boats aren't just popular today. They were first used in France in the 17th century and became a common table item in the US during Thanksgiving meals. Fact 93. Turkey wishbones are prized in the UK too, where they are known as Merry Thoughts. British kids used to believe the person who broke off the larger piece could make a wish. Fact 94. Native Americans taught early settlers to make jerky, which became essential for the harsh winter. They made jerky from deer, buffalo, and fish, anything that could be dried and stored. Fact 95. Since the early 2000s, it's been trendy to make vegan or vegetarian Thanksgiving meals. Dishes like tofurkey and lentil loaf have become favorites among plant-based eaters. Fact 96. Football fans might be surprised to learn that John Madden, the famous NFL coach and announcer, loved turducken. He helped popularize the dish after discovering it at a New Orleans restaurant. Fact 97. Pumpkin pie became a Thanksgiving staple in the 1800s, replacing apple pie as the more common dessert due to the abundance and affordability of pumpkins. Fact 98. The pardon ceremony for turkeys is celebrated in other ways too. Turkeys are often sent to petting zoos or farms where they live out their days in peace. Fact 99. About 90% of Americans eat pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving, but pecan pie is close behind, especially in the South. Some families even have both as a sweet ending to the meal. Fact 100. In 2013, the once-in-a-lifetime event Thanksgiving occurred when Thanksgiving and the first day of Hanukkah fell on the same day. The next time it will happen? Not for another 77,000 years. Fact 101. And finally, did you know that over 26 million travelers take to the skies during Thanksgiving week, making it the most traveled holiday period in the US? It's all about coming together, no matter the journey. And that's a wrap. Which fact surprised you the most? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more fun facts.